Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Parchi here with Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, taking you through this game. It's been a little back and forth so far, but we have been treated to a good one here in Metro Conference action on a Monday night.
12-10 lead for Evans, who now have the ball. Both these teams in their traditional colors. Evans, of course, located over on Silver Star. The launch and score the range for Melvin.
Shashawn Melvin for 3.
So offensive rebounding in the early going as Profit launches, and Charles and Bannister Doucette tangled up each other. That should have been a Wekiva rebound, but it goes out of bounds, and it'll be Evans' ball.
Malachi Hampton and Joshua Griffin check into the game for the Mustangs.
Offensive rebounding has been the difference. Both teams strong in that case, but Evans a little bit better as they go to work. That's McQuay. Back to Melvin. Spins on Hammond. Decides better of trying to attack from the paint. Gives it up to Anderson. No dice, and Hampton back to Hammond. Out of bounds, and ball will remain with Wekiva. So those offensive rebounds are actually even, 6 for both teams, but Evans has turned a couple more of them into baskets, and thus your difference of 5 points as we drop under 1 minute in the first quarter from Mustang Arena. Wekiva, the home team. This is Hammond in one motion, short. Melvin out to Anderson, and he attacks, runs into a wall of defenders, and they make sure that there is no shot, the rejection. Evans looking to inbound, they do. That's Melvin, goes high, can't get it. Profit gets the rebound off the tip. He's going to try to go coast to coast, and Evans takes a book out of Wekiva pages with the rejection. Back the other way, hand in for Profit, got back on defense quickly. Stewart off to Calixty, no dice. And now Wekiva comes back the other way, 15 seconds remaining. And a tie ball. Evans getting their hands in there.
Held ball, possession, Mustangs.
So possession will remain with Wekiva. But again, we talk about this all the time, Mark. When you get a stoppage of play, that just forces the offense to have to reset and refine that flow and rhythm. Charles with the inbound and drains the ring.
Nadia Charles for 3. And that puts the Mustangs back to within 2.
Can they hold off at the last possession? Yes. Good job by Hammond, forcing Melvin to take an off-balance shot. And so 15-13, back and forth, 4 lead changes as we head into the second period.
That takes us to the end of the first quarter. 15-13 is your score at the end of the opening 8 minutes. Back with more from Mustang Arena right after a short break. The Trojans have the opening possession of the second period. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher in a game that has been back and forth. Evans up by 2 to end the opening 8 minutes, but certainly we've been seeing what we like to see out of both sides of this ball.
4 lead changes during that first quarter. Evans with possession. Down to Melvin, guarded by Hammond. And the whistle.
Going to be a double foul.
So again, both these teams looking to sustain some winning consistency.
Foul is called against Vovsi Profit and Micah Blackman on the double foul. That's Profit's second, Blackman's first, and the team's third and second respectively.
Evans winning 6 of its last 8. And Wekiva looking for his third consecutive win. The drive by Melvin kicks out as he faces that tough Wekiva defense. Now the drive through the middle by Massey and score the deuce.
DJ Massey adds 2.
Neither team shooting particularly well. Actually, they're both under 25%. This is Charles, stops, hops. And no dice, come back the other way. The quick outlet, rejected by Profit.
Beautiful block down there.
And you could hear the crowd roar its approval. The student section in particular on that rejection. And then Hampton went about 10 rows up into the bleachers on the other end to try to track down that loose ball. Melvin, back up to Massey, and Massey with the bounce pass down low to Blackman, who crashes that board and can't get the deuce, but does draw the foul.
Foul called against Mustangs number 0, Malachi Hampton is first, the team's fourth. That will send Micah Blackman to the line, shooting 2 for the Trojans. 8 points already for him. He is no stranger to double figures. First one is good.
So Evans scored 7 consecutive points midway through that first quarter to take their lead that they now hold. And make that 18-13 as Wekiva will go to work. And Evans goes to work even quicker, getting the turnover. And now a loose ball.
Anderson slipped, and we got a fracas on the floor.
Took a few seconds for the refs to blow that whistle.
"30-second timeout called by the Trojans." Back in a moment.
And welcome back to Mustang Arena. 6:34 remaining in the second quarter. Wekiva trailing. They are in the white jerseys, down 18-13. This has been a back and forth game. Evans with the lead since midway in the first quarter, though. An opportunity for Wekiva to cut into that lead. Great anticipation by Livingston, but better anticipation by Evans. Back and forth we go. And score the deuce for
Second
Evans.
chance basket by Henry Calixty.
So again, mentioned throughout that first quarter, these teams like to move the ball, not just up and down, not just full court transition, but even when they're in their half court set, they do not actually set, Mark. It is back and forth, move that ball high, low, inside, outside, and there was an example on that last possession by Evans. So you could hear once again that student section roaring its approval after the rejection, but unfortunately for Wekiva, Evans immediately went back to work. Not even a second later, they released another shot. This is Davis. No dice for him. And we'll come back the other way. Another miss. Ball's jumping all over the court. Hammond, stop, pop, no drop. But Doucette, Windex work in the finger roll deuce.
Isaiah Bannister. That cuts the lead back to 5.
(20-15) lead now for Evans.
Hand check is called against Mustangs number 21. Bosie Prophet, his 3rd personal foul, the team's 5th.
So as you heard Mark just say, he is our public address announcer. 5 fouls on Wekiva, only 2 on Evans. So we'll see if the fouls come into play. We still have 6 minutes before halftime. As Anderson takes the ball, guarded by Hammond, extended left. Hammond continues to guard Anderson down low, the drive, the pass, and score the finger roll deuce for Blackman, +1.
Sheelan Escontrius to Micah Blackman for the basket and a chance to make it a 3-point play. The foul is called against Isaiah Bannister, his 2nd, and the team's 6th.
So we've talked throughout the first roughly quarter and a half mark about these teams, and in particular Evans. They move that ball quickly. They're not just a quick transition opportunity team, but even in the half-court set, they don't really set. They're moving constantly as Wekiva commits the foul on the rebound.
Foul called against Mustangs number 12, Abia Charles, his first, the team's 7th. Micah Blackman back at the line again.
And with Blackman back at the line, there's an example, though, that they're equally proficient when they go to a more deliberate attack. So Blackman unable to convert either of those free throws, but the lead is now up to 7, largest of the game for Evans. Evans coming in, winning 6 of its last 8, and 8-6 overall on the season. Hammond extended left, guarded by Anderson. Picks up the pick, back to Hampton, who releases. Can't find the range. Contact underneath, out of bounds, and let's see who the foul's on.
Foul is called against Trojans, number 23, Henry Calixty. That's his 1st and the team's 3rd.
And if Calixty is a familiar name, that's because he's actually on the football team as well. The long-range Trey, no dice, but doing rebound work is Hampton. Ball clinks around, and now Evans comes down with it.
Yeah, Bannister had a good look at that one, but ultimately it's Escontrius that comes after it. But Darius Livingston making some noise at half court, disrupting the Trojan momentum. 4:59 to go here in the second. Mustangs now trail by 7 since we had the break. The Mustangs have been outscored 2-7 after the first 8 minutes.
So a couple of runs by Evans right now, giving them that lead. Score the tray!
3-point basket for Henry Calixty. So whatever sins he may have committed on the last possession, picking up that foul, those sins are forgiven now.
Hammond trying to answer from the left wing, will not. And getting that ball quickly is Melvin. He was harassed by Livingston in a whistle.
Darius Livingston called on the hit. It's his first personal foul, the team's 8th, and the Trojans continue into bonus. At the line, shooting 1-1, number 4, Jashawn Melvin.
And as Mark mentioned, 8 fouls now on Wekiva. So bonus the rest of the way for Evans. Wekiva has been very fortunate so far. 3 straight missed free throws. About 150 fans in attendance tonight. Thank you for listening and joining us on the internet as Doucette tries to squeeze that ball in. Someone got a hand. You can hear it being slapped away. And now
Charles gets the possession back for the Mustangs. Not a steal in the traditional sense, but he managed to get that ball to bounce off of Escontrius. So nice play at half court. Couple of those in a row for the Mustangs, Neil. That transition defense is so far, not giving the Mustangs the lead, but keeping them in the ball game.
That's Hampton, who spins around and drops the deuce from 10 feet.
Malachi Hampton adds 2 for the Mustangs.
So as you mentioned, Wekiva, that time it was the offense, but Wekiva staying close enough to still have an opportunity, down by 8. 3 possessions, a little bull run there for Blackman, but ultimately Wekiva wins on defense. The pass to Hampton.
And a pratfall by Malachi Hampton. I think he could have got the foul without that, but foul called against number 4, Jashawn Melvin. That's his first personal, the team's 4th, and it will send the Mustangs to the free throw line. Malachi Hampton shooting 2.
So Hampton, who we've mentioned during 2022, the calendar year, missed 7 games with a hand injury. He's at the line.
Checking into the game for Evans, number 24, Chad Stewart.
So I would say right now the difference is the offense. Obviously, that's going to always be the difference because it's who scores the most points. But really the difference has been in who's been more efficient. The defenses have been about equal throughout this second quarter. They've both forced the opponent into 3 turnovers.
Chad Stewart there, a little Butterfingers issue of catching the pass.
And to your point, Mark, about the transition defense of Wekiva, they have pretty much answered Evans in terms of the turnovers. Again, 3 for each side, actually 4 for each side, excuse me. But every time Wekiva's turned the ball over on transition, turned it over, they have gotten it back on a turnover while playing defense. So 3.5 remaining, and now the first non-transition turnover committed by Wekiva. Evans back to work, looking to extend the 8-point lead. They cannot find the range. Hampton grabs that ball, leads the charge, not quite as fast as Evans, but still quick enough to get the open shot, the give and go. Hampton.
Livingston to Hampton for 2.
And that cuts the lead to 25-19. And I'd also add to your point, Mark, about staying close enough to defense as the wild flying circus shot. Hampton to Hamden. Too long, though. Wekiva has gotten its points in timely manner as well. It's not just the fact that they've been matching Evans in terms of turnover for turnover, but they have now allowed the lead to get larger than 8 and Evans to really get on one of those bearing runs. This is Anderson, short, and Hammond will bring it down the other way. As the battle continues, Hammond with the interception, breaking up another transition opportunity for Evans. Albeit this one was at half court. Now Hammond, a slower pace, rocks that ball up as Wekiva is going to take its time. They're still moving the ball quickly, but this is the longest they've taken to shoot the ball all night.
Yeah, we hear all of the controversy every year about putting a shot clock in. Not important today as Darius Livingston drains the 3 for Wekiva.
Much needed tray that cuts the lead to 3. Charles gets the rebound.
Charles powering through there. He was outgunned 2-on-1 with 2 guys that were bigger than him. Comes up with it anyway, and Darius Livingston, 2 more for Wekiva.
And just like that, the lead down to 1. And as I mentioned, Mark, it's not just the fact that Wekiva is playing solid defense and matching Evans turnover for turnover, but they're getting those buckets at timely points, junctures, as the turnover for Evans.
Traveling Mustangs ball.
So Evans coming in, winning 6 of their last 8. Wekiva looking to get its 3rd consecutive victory. They defeated Timber Creek on Saturday and Edgewater last Friday. That's also the first time all season they've won back-to-back games as Hampton draws the foul, skying.
Malachi Hampton fouled on the attempt. He will go to the line and shoot 2. Foul is called against Trojans. Number 22, Melvin McQuay. That's his first and the team's fifth.
So Coach Morgan, the Evans coach, disagreed with that foul call. But meanwhile, Hampton at the line, and we are now tied at 25 all.
Yeah, well, we had that camera right on that action, and you saw McQuay over the back there with a lot of contact. It's hard to believe that he only hit the ball from the angle he was coming at. And 2 for 2 at the line. Hampton getting it done and giving the Mustangs their first lead of this quarter.
That's our fifth lead change of the game. Evans had led since midway through that first quarter. They went ahead with a 7-0 run.
Double team trap coming up from Livingston and Hampton. And a foul? Jamaric Hammond is called on the block. That's his first personal, the team's 9th. The Trojans continue into bonus at the line, shooting 1-1, Avery Anderson.
And as you just heard Mark announce, 9 fouls on Wekiva, so Evans will now be in double bonus. 53 seconds remaining. And Davis, great job on the boards, tipping that ball to Hammond. And now Wekiva looking to up that lead. Wekiva on an 8-0 run themselves. Turnaround from Davis. Too long. Couple of hands out of bounds, and it'll be Evans' ball. So Evans looking to regain the lead. They get the ball up quickly. Couple of seconds along the baseline. Back the other side of the baseline, now kicking it out to Melvin. 20 seconds remaining. Hammond gets a hand in there, picks up the loose ball. 1-on-3, he's going to try to force it. And he does get some dividends.
Foul is called against Trojans number 3, Jimmy Brown, his first, the team's 6th.
So now both teams in bonus. Wekiva's single bonus, Evans double bonus, only 15 seconds remaining.
Hammond's still looking for his first points of the night. That's a little unusual for him, but he remedies that right now.
And now Josh Gordon coming in for Malachi Hampton.
Joshua Griffin in for the Mustangs.
So Wekiva has the second free throw good with the 28-25 lead. And they are on a 10-0 run. Evans had a 7-0 run in the first quarter to take the lead, and Wekiva's not only answered, but Bettel, the drive, the slash, and the withdrawal for Massey.
TJ Massey will have the last word of the first half, but it leaves the Mustangs with a 1-point lead going into the locker rooms. 28-27 is your halftime score here on Monday night Metro Conference basketball action. Back with more from Mustang Arena here at halftime. 28-27 your score at the break. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. It's halftime, and we've got a good one cooking up here. 28-27 is the score at the break as the teams went into the locker rooms. It's been a back-and-forth contest. Wekiva led briefly in the first quarter before Evans went on a run and held the lead until nearly the end of the first half, and then Wekiva was able to chip away slowly but surely, and they go into the locker rooms with a one-point advantage in this Metro contest. Wekiva would be the underdogs in this contest, strictly looking at records and Metro seedings, but they are proving that they can go toe-to-toe with the Trojans, a traditional Metro rival here in the Orange County West Conference. The Mustangs have the opening possession of the third quarter. And we are back to live action.
Yeah, a 7-0 run for Evans, as Mark mentioned, and then Wekiva answered, taking it almost to the end of the second half, 10 consecutive points. That's Hammond drawing the foul right off the bat, 11 seconds into the second half.
Foul called against number 4, Jashawn Melvin, his second, the team's first of this half.
So this is a matchup, as Mark mentioned, between Metro West Division, Metro Conference Western Division, the scoop over to Davis, who drains the
Carrie
ring.
Davis for 3 to open up second half scoring.
Can't ask for a better start, Mark, if you're Wekiva. 31-27 lead, and now they're going to a half-court trap on defense. So again, Wekiva comes in looking for their third consecutive victory. They defeated Timber Creek Saturday and Edgewater on Friday, also the first time they've won back-to-back games this season. And perhaps maybe we're starting to see the beginning of a turnaround here, kind of that the more repetition you get, the more comfortable you get.
Well, as they say, Neil, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Mustang season is definitely moving in the right direction as they go out to the top. And there it goes, 3 for Jashawn Melvin.
So both teams stop, pop, and launching from beyond the arc and converting 31-30. Wekiva still with the lead. On the other side, Evans looking for their 7th win in 9 attempts. Of course, Evans, a perennial state powerhouse. They pretty much expect to make the state playoffs at the very least every year. Both these teams were in the same division for most of Wekiva's existence. About 5 years ago, Wekiva went down to 7A. That's the classification, as we're going to get the deuce
Pete
plus
Lewis
1.
And 1. Foul called against number 13, Jalen Escontrius. That's his second and the team's second of this half.
And so where I was going, as Lewis will go to the line, these teams are very familiar with each other, Mark. Again, they were in the same, not just the same class, but the same division for most of Wekiva's existence, about 12 of the 15 years. Short, and Davis battles and comes up with that loose ball.
Yeah, those of us who have been around for a while remember it very clearly. If you don't, you can find it on YouTube. The tip-in heard round the world. This was back when Scott Williams was the head coach here. Willie Carmichael from Jason Hughes. 0.2 seconds remaining on the clock. Metro Conference Championship on the line. Wekiva had never won a Metro Championship before. And with 0.2 seconds, Wekiva trailed. It was a tie ball game. Coach Williams called the timeout. I was thinking, what on earth is he thinking? Wasting a timeout with 0.2 seconds. You can't possibly do anything with that, as we get a 3 from Henry Calixty. And Coach Williams proved his wisdom there as he designed a play. Obviously, with 0.2 seconds, you can't catch and release, but you can tip it in, and that is exactly what he did. It was a beautiful play, certainly one for the history books. I still remember it all these years later, and if you haven't had a chance, definitely look up Jason Hughes, Willie Carmichael, Wekiva versus Evans.
Yeah, and also, let's not forget in that game it was a great finish, but Wekiva actually fell behind by, I believe it was 10 points, about midway through that first quarter. So certainly as Hammond launches, short, skying, couple of players, and it's going to be Escontrias coming out with the loose ball, the quick passing the other way. 2 consecutive trays.
3 for Henry Calixty. 13 points in the books for him, and that regains the lead for the Trojans.
Yeah, they are on a roll now. 3 of 4 in the second half from the field, and Wekiva answers the
Malachi
deuce.
Hampton to Isaiah Bannister, and 1. Foul called against number 23, Henry Calixty. That's his second personal foul and the team's third.
So Wekiva, just when you thought Evans might start to build some momentum and surge into that lead, they are still in the lead, but that run, that surge, ends at one point, and now it's actually tied. 36 all. Great pass inside. Down low, Evans. That's Melvin down low to Blackman, who jams.
Micah Blackman from Jashawn Melvin on the Trojan dunk.
And just that quickly, Evans back in the lead. Evans shooting 4 of 6 from the field in the second half. Launch from Profit, snakes off the backside, but Doucette, Windex work, keeps control over to Hampton, who makes the withdrawal in traffic.
Malachi Hampton with the second chance basket for Wekiva.
And Wekiva matching Evans field goal percentage-wise, 3 of 5. Both these teams shooting around 60%. 4 minutes and change into the second half. Metro Conference Western Division matchup. The whistle.
We're going to get a foul on the floor here.
Anderson lowered that shoulder and slashed in attack.
Foul called against Mustangs number 21, Vosi Prophet. That's his fourth personal foul, the team's first of this half. Checking in for him, he is number 12, Avia Charles. So obviously Prophet will have to sit for a while. He takes 3 points with him to the bench. Putback is there, and that's Micah Blackman for 2.
Offensive rebounding was one of the stories in the first half. That's the first offensive rebound for Evans in the second half, though. And now able to keep it in. No. Lewis was able to catch it, but couldn't keep his feet in bounds. So now, despite that frenetic pace in the first half, both teams actually only turned the ball over 6 times. And now they've only turned it over once, both teams once in the second half. So turnovers has not played a role. Back to the left corner and finding the range.
Anderson to Escontrius for 3.
Evans continues to shoot hot.
And
Wekiva continued to be forced to match them. And now Wekiva, we didn't see much of this in the second half as Hampton turns around. Stop, pops in, drops.
Malachi Hampton from Pete Lewis for 2.
And what I said, didn't see much of this, I meant Wekiva was going at a slower pace than Evans. Evans launches again and buries the tray.
3.
4 of 7 from beyond the arc for Evans. They are not only shooting hot from the field, but specifically from three-point range, and they have a 46-40 lead. That is the difference right now. Again, Wekiva shooting around 60%.
Henry Calixty becomes the leading scorer with 16, with that tray falling from the corner.
That's Hampton trying to get the 10-foot deuce. So just to finish up my thought, the difference has been that three-point. Wekiva has only gotten 1 compared to 4 for Evans. So 1:40 remaining. Evans with a 46-40 lead, and they'll go to work. The largest lead of the game for Evans has been 8 points. And will they be able to match it? Yes! The high withdrawal from Melvin.
Sean Melvin on the layup.
And now 8 points, again, the largest lead of the game for Evans. Wekiva in the white jersey, slapped away by Anderson, and Hammond trying to return the favor, commits the foul.
Jamaric Hammond is called on his second personal foul, the team's second. Trojans ball at the sideline.
So Wekiva's going to have to come up with a stop here if they don't want the lead to grow to the largest of the game for Evans. Up to this point, Wekiva took the lead into the second half. The teams have been pretty much neck and neck until about 2 minutes. No dice for Escontrias, and the long outlet to Hampton, and he draws the foul. That was Hammond with the pass.
Foul called against number 23, Henry Calixty. That's his third personal foul, the team's fourth. Joshua Griffin returns to the game for the Mustangs.
So again, Wekiva had the lead heading into the second half. Evans took the lead immediately on their first possession, and then both teams went through about 2 minutes of trading baskets, but more three-pointers than deuces for Evans compared to Wekiva got them that multiple possession lead.
30-second timeout requested by the Mustangs. We'll take it with them, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Mustang Arena, where we've got a hot one going here. The Trojans have outscored the Mustangs 21-12 since coming back from the locker rooms, but Wekiva has never let it get out of shouting distance.
This is the largest lead of the game, 8 points. As Hammond takes possession at the top of the key, 45 seconds remaining. This is Wekiva with possession. So they do need to get some points to prevent that Evans from an opportunity of getting the largest lead of the night. And Boats ball, 50-50.
It's going to go Evans' way.
Again, both these teams have done a good job holding on to the ball. Not a lot of turnovers, but when compared to Evans, Wekiva certainly on the short end decisively. 4 turnovers compared to 1. And like I said, now Evans gets that opportunity to go up by its largest lead. That's Melvin, steps back. No dice. Hampton doing yeoman's work, keeping the ball alive, and comes away with the ball. Back at the other end. No dice for Hammond. Hampton again battling on the boards, and it will pay off with Wekiva maintaining possession. Inbound to Hampton. Backs up. Over to Charles. No, rattles out. Gets his own rebound. 9 seconds.
Nice dribble work on the first one. Nearly loses dribble again.
The
pops it out to Livingston. Not there.
And that will bring the third quarter to an end. Wekiva keeping within distance, shooting the ball well, but unfortunately Evans getting more threes than Wekiva, and they have steadily increased that lead to 8. In Mustang Arena, the site, Wekiva, the home team on defense, white jerseys, trailing 48-40 to Evans Trojans. This is a Metro Conference and Western Division matchup. The game story so far has been the three-pointers. In the first half, it was offensive rebounding. Second half, it's been the three-point field goal. This is Melvin. He goes right, left, can't get the deuce to drop.
Waited a little too long before releasing that layup. Hammond loses his dribble thanks to some help from TJ Massey. Ball stays with Wekiva.
Yeah, Evans sinking 4 3-pointers compared to 1 for Wekiva in that third quarter, and you have the cumulative effect, a 3-possession lead now. That's Doucette. Bannister, he tried to spin, swiped by Anderson, drops off.
Jimmy Brown adds the layup for the Trojans.
So now again, I would say the turnovers aren't as big a story as the three-point field goal in terms of Evans getting that lead, but now they are starting to creep up in terms of equality.
They make a mistake there, though, as they tried to make something happen in transition, but the pass was off target for Melvin. Wekiva gets the ball back, goes for the J at the other end, and it's there!
Livingston finding the range. 50-42. And now the full court trap being applied by Wekiva, but Evans breaks it, and an easy deuce off the board for Brown. Hammond brings the ball up. And Mark, I would say that right now what Wekiva's doing, and that is being more deliberate, not trying to match the pace of Evans, not getting out of their pace. They've done that much better in the second half than the first half. This is Livingston, the two-man defense, down to Bannister Doucette. Back up to Hammond, resets. Livingston, again, two-man defense. Over the corner, Charles launches. Doucette can't get the right angle on the shot. And now Evans, a chance to get the lead up to 12 or even 13. So Wekiva getting its shots, but they're not able to convert, not really getting good looks at the basket, a lot of off-balance shots, whereas Evans are getting a lot of shots leaning towards the basket. And a rare mistake for Evans, only their third turnover of the second half. So Wekiva trailing by 10 points. And again, we've mentioned throughout this game, Evans is a traditional state powerhouse. Of course, it's been a long time, but nonetheless, they do have a state championship, 1976, and they've gone to 3 finals in the last 18 years. This year, they come into this game ranked number 66 in the Max Preps All Classification rankings. And number 14 in Class 7A, despite an 8-6 record. And there you see why. Now getting a hand in the other end. Melvin, contact. Yes, count the deuce off the bank, +1.
Foul called against Mustangs. Number 3, Jamar Hammond on the block. His third personal foul. The team's third. The basket by Avery Anderson is good. He's at the line shooting for the three-point play.
We were tied at 36 all, about 3 minutes into the second half. Wekiva took a 28-27 lead into halftime. Evans drained a couple of trays, and they have led since then. At that point, they went ahead, getting the extra point compared to 2 for Wekiva. But since then, there's been turnovers, and not a lot of them, but those 3 turnovers that Wekiva has committed, actually 4 turnovers, in this first quarter, have been turned into points by Evans.
Nice block there by Hampton. Will give the Mustangs a chance to do something in transition, and they do. No!
And that's
no baskets. Offensive charge is called against number 21, Vosi Prophet. That's his 5th personal foul, and he retires from the game with 5 points for the Mustangs. So that's the double dagger there. The basket doesn't count. You get a turnover instead, and Prophet is out of the game.
Yeah, as I was saying, Mark, turnovers have not been a lot. Only 4 in the first half by both teams. Now the long outlet pass down low. Score the withdrawal for Calixty, +1.
Henry Calixty gets the basket and a chance to make it a 3-point play. Foul is called against Malachi Hampton, his 2nd, the team's 5th. And there's more coming.
Yeah.
Technical foul is called against Trojans, number 23, Henry Calixty. That's his 4th personal foul, the team's 5th. So we will assess the penalties for those fouls in the order that they occurred.
So 4:33 remaining, 56-42. You just heard Mark call out all the different penalties, fouls which have been called. And I would say, though, the Wekiva winds up on the short end of those because, as you also heard Mark say, Hampton committed his 5th foul.
No, that was not the 5th foul on Malachi Hampton. That was the second.
Second, excuse me. Okay, the second.
So first we'll be assessing the three-point play. One shot coming to Henry Calixty. 18 points for him. He's the leading scorer, and it's going to stay that way. Now the technical foul will be assessed. Jamarick Hammond will be at the other end, shooting the free throws.
So where I was going before we had that flurry of action and whistles was I was talking about the turnovers throughout that first half. Basically, long story short, Mark, the turnovers have increasingly become more and more valuable storyline. They were not a big, really did not play a role in the first half as both teams committed only 4 fouls. Wekiva then committed 4 turnovers in the first half.
And then another important point about a technical foul is that at the high school level, it also awards possession at half court.
And then Wekiva committed 4 turnovers in the third quarter alone. They now have 5 in the fourth quarter. No dice for Livingston. Hampton doing Windex work, and he's rewarded by drawing the foul.
Foul called against number 5, TJ Massey. That's his first personal foul of the team's 6th. Malachi Hampton will shoot 2. And
the other point about those fouls is, again, they weren't that important, so timeliness didn't matter, but they had the timeliness of when those turnovers are being committed have also become more and more important. And give Evans credit, they not only create a lot of turnovers, but they convert them into points. So Hampton at the line with 12 points. And make that 13. That'll cut the lead back up to double digits to 9. Brown, top of the key. He's going to drive, slash, dash the attack, and draws the foul. Gets whacked.
Mustang foul called against Malachi Hampton, his 3rd personal, the team's 6th. That will send Jimmy Brown to the line to shoot 2.
And Wekiva catches a break with the missed free throw. And a double break for Wekiva. Both free throws do not sink. Hammond with the rebound, and there's another turnover. And again, the turnovers have become increasingly more frequent as this game has progressed. 4 in the first half for Wekiva, 4 in the third quarter alone, and now 6 in the fourth quarter. So Wekiva going full court defense. Anderson. Anderson gets the ball back from Brown. Down low. Beautiful pass in the withdrawal from Blackman.
Sean Melvin to Micah Blackman for 2. And Neil, I think Evans has just had more of those clean plays into the paint, and they've also been hot from the perimeter as Malachi Hampton picks one up from the key for Wekiva.
Yeah, and again, that's where your turnovers come into play. Your turnovers allow you more likelihood of being able to make those clean plays because you get odd man advantages. And again, this is Anderson back up to the top, 5 feet behind. Melvin, no dice. Hammond skies. And Wekiva still hanging around, still close enough to win this. Not a done deal yet as far as Evans a victory, but Wekiva needs to start cutting into that lead. And there's your start. The withdrawal for Doucette.
Isaiah Bannister down the baseline.
So now Wekiva needs to build on that basket by Doucette. And they are going to. Some good defense cutting off that court, reducing Evans' offense to operating in half the court. And now Hampton, as you can see, is readjusting his shorts. And back to work Wekiva goes. 2.5 remaining. Hampton, spin and drops the deuce from 8 feet.
Malachi Hampton! So the unanswered points there put Wekiva back in this game. Again, bonus both ways. Neither team has a foul to give. 7-point lead for the Trojans.
Another turnover, the loose pass. Back the other way. Charles powers too much. Hampton doing Windex work, and he'll go to the line.
Malachi Hampton draws the foul on the attempt. He'll shoot 2 for the Mustangs. Foul is called against Avery Anderson, his first and the team's 7th.
So an 11-point lead, now down to 7, and Hampton an opportunity to cut even more into that. Wekiva finding that defensive mojo, if you will. They have now gone to a full court 1-2-2. And unfortunately, those are points that Wekiva cannot afford to let go by the wayside with only 2:16 remaining.
Henry Calixty returns to the game for Evans. Leading scorer back in now.
Wekiva looking to win 3 straight for the first time this season. Evans comes in looking to win 7 of their last 9. This is a Metro Conference Western Division matchup. Certainly for Wekiva to go a long way towards having a blueprint to look back on as we get a whistle. Anderson with the dribble.
Hand check is called against Darius Livingston. That's his second, the team's 7th. It puts the Trojans into bonus. At the line, shooting 1-1 is number 2, Avery Anderson.
And both teams are in the bonus. 2:07 remaining. About 150 fans here at Mustang Arena, home of the Wekiva Mustangs. And the break for Wekiva. Anderson, no dice. Hammond skying for the rebound. Back the other way. Charles. Back to Livingston. Into Hampton, who's been the star. This time, though, the pass. He gets the rebound. And one of the Evans players got a hand on that. Down to 148 now, Wekiva.
I think that was Blackman that swatted that one away. Wekiva maintains possession, though, trailing 6 to Hammond for 3. It's there! Jamaric Hammond from Darius Livingston for 3. And just like that, it's a one-possession ball game.
58-55, and you can certainly feel the atmosphere increasing, the intensity here at Mustang Arena as Evans breaks that 1-2-2 trap. Now they go to the half-court set. Into the corner. Evans rises. No dice. Doing Windex work. Melvin back up to Blackman, who finger rolls the deuce.
Micah Blackman picks up 2.
And just that quickly, Evans regains the momentum on a sensational play. Interior offense. And now we got a stoppage.
Yeah, that was to wipe the sweat off the floor from Jamaric Hammond, who took a hard fall there. It was a no call, but nevertheless, he hit the ground pretty hard. Took a little extra time to get up and left a little sweat. But now we're going to get a 30-second timeout requested by the Trojans. We'll take it with them. We'll be back for the last 72 seconds.
Mustang Arena, the site for this Metro Conference Western Division matchup. The Wekiva Mustangs, the home team, trailing the Evans Trojans by a 60-55 score. 112, 72 ticks of the clock left. Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi, and the broadcast production department at Wekiva, headed by Keith Dickerson, handling the video aspects. This is going to be a great finish between these two longtime rivals. Wekiva cutting the lead down to 3 on the last possession, and then giving up some ground on a beautiful give and go, which resulted with Blackman dropping the deuce, and now Wekiva will go to the line.
Foul called.
And we also have some discussion at the scorer's table.
Foul called against Jalen Escontrius, his third, the team's eighth. Malachi Hampton shooting.
So Hampton at the line with 18 points. Again, Hampton missed 7 games this season, and you can see the difference in Wekiva's overall quality of play since he returned. This is his 4th game. Unfortunately, he's missed 3 free throws in the last possession, and obviously you don't need to be a mathematician to see the difference that's made. You're certainly looking at a 1 possession as opposed to a 2 possession lead. Wekiva continues with the full court trap. That's Hammond and Charles, and yes!
Stepped out, Mustangs ball! That's
Hammond,
exactly what they were going for there.
Hammond bowling his way and cutting off that court inch by inch. And as you just heard Mark say, I believe that was Anderson who stepped out of bounds. 1 minute exactly, Wekiva an opportunity to cut the lead down to 1 possession. And Hammond's going to put it on his shoulder and drains the ring!
4-3! Timeout Mustangs, full timeout.
And guess what, Mark? The momentum, the mojo is back with Wekiva. 60-59. Evans lead down to 1. 51 seconds remaining from Mustang Arena. Fifth, 51 seconds remaining. Wekiva, the home team in the white jerseys, on defense, trailing the Evans Trojans 60-59. Wekiva looking to win 3 in a row, and 7 out of 9 is what Evans is trying to do. Half full court trap. Evans breaks it. A little bit of trouble, but they break it up. 40 seconds remaining. Wekiva absolutely needs to stop. And all kinds of hands now. Evans doing a good job of being patient and making the right passes and creating passing angles. And eventually they draw the foul.
Jamaric Hammond called in his 4th personal foul, the team's 8th. That puts the Trojans into bonus. At the line, shooting 1 and 1. Avery Anderson.
And as you heard Mark just say, Hammond committed that foul, whacking Anderson, and that is his 4th.
And that was deliberate. I'm sure that he did that on purpose.
The senior point guard. 31.8 seconds remaining. No dice for Anderson. And Wekiva, an opportunity to win this ball game. Do they shoot or do they call the timeout? They go with the timeout. 24.8 seconds remaining.
Full timeout requested by the Mustangs. Back in a moment for the exciting conclusion. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher in a game that has been, as advertised, worth the price of admission, especially if you're watching on one of the free services. Boy, you can't ask for much more than this. Mustangs will have the ball coming back from the timeout. They trail by 1. 59-60 is the score, and a back-and-forth game. Evans looked like they might be putting it out of reach for a little while there, and then Wekiva said not so.
Yeah, Wekiva down by 11 with 2:45 remaining. They are obviously outscored Evans by 10 more points. They catch a break with a missed free throw from Anderson. On the previous possession, they were able to come up with a stop, a turnover. 20 seconds remaining. Wekiva goes to work. Do they wait for the buzzer? Back up to Charles. No dice. Scramble. Loose ball. And that was Melvin for Evans. They're in the green jerseys. Had his hand on it.
Held ball. Possession Trojans.
And as you just heard Mark say, refs ruled a held ball and the arrows favoring Evans. So Evans will have to first inbound the ball, and of course Wekiva's going to have to foul immediately. 9.1 seconds remaining as Evans, Coach Morgan's going to discuss strategy and how to inbound the ball with his troops. Mustang Arena, the site. This is the a Metro Conference Western Division matchup. Wekiva, the home team, in the white jerseys on defense, trailing the Evans Trojans 60-59. They've battled back from an 11-point deficit, but now they got their work cut out. Evans is going to have to be able to inbound the ball. Wekiva's forced a couple of turnovers during that run.
Keep in mind that they still have one more foul to give before hitting double bonus, so they can send the Trojans to the line for 1-and-1 right here.
Evans inbounds. That's Melvin. A lot of time taking off, all the way down to 2.3 seconds. And that was probably the worst situation that Wekiva could have faced next to a quick basket from Evans.
Isaiah Bannister-Doucette is called in the hold. It's his third, the team's 9th, and that will send Jalen Escontrios to shoot 1-and-1. Yeah, that's one of those, if you're going to have to foul anyway, you want to do it faster than that.
Yeah. Evans trying to win their 7th out of their last 9. Wekiva trying to win 3 in a row for the first time this season and reach the 500 mark at 6-6. And now at the line. No, got to get the ball up quickly. No, you don't. Coach Lubin calls a timeout, so hope is not lost. Worst possible situation, taking time off the clock before the foul, but best possible situation with the missed free throw and the quick timeout.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Wekiva will have the ball at their own baseline when we come back here from the timeout. They trail by 1, and unlike in the NBA, you do not get to advance the ball to half court on a timeout, so Wekiva will have the full length of the court to go in 2 seconds. We did reset the game clock. We added 0.8 seconds.
0.8 of a second.
Yep, because there is obviously a delay from the time the coach
quickly
calls the timeout to the time the official recognizes
quickly
it.
Before this inbound, Wekiva took that timeout. They were huddled right in front of the door to the left of the bench. Hammond will inbound, looking for 3 victories in a row to Hampton. Stolen! Escatrias got his hands on. Buzzard rings, and it will be no comeback, complete comeback for Wekiva. They got from 11 to 1, but defense is the name of the game. Evans withstands the rally.
That takes us to the end of the ball game, and it is a 1-point victory for the Trojans. Jalen Escatrias with the steal as time expired. 60-59, the final score in a thrilling Metro Conference contest. We want to thank everyone for coming out to support your Mustang and Trojan athletes tonight. Mustang fans, your next chance to catch Wekiva in action is on the road. They will be at Lake Minneola on Wednesday. They return home to play Ocoee at 7 o'clock on Thursday night in the play-in rounds to the Metro Hoop Fest Conference Championships. Depending on the outcome of that game, they will play at either 4:30 or 7:30 on Friday. And in between those 2 games at 6 on Friday, we will have a hotly anticipated contest between the Wekiva girls basketball team and the Lake Highland Prep Highlanders, always a state powerhouse. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube, NFHS Network, or Varsity Sports Network. My thanks to Keith Dickerson and his entire team at Wekiva TV Broadcast Production for their participation in tonight's game. For Neil Fisher, this is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, wishing you a good night. A close thriller here at Mustang Arena, 60-59. The Trojans will take away this one. This has been a presentation of Wekiva High School Athletics in association with Orange Technical College, both a proud part of Orange County Public Schools. Good night from Mustang Arena.